There are people who come through my doors, suicidal thoughts, that are going through divorce. Speak life into the people. Be
Mm.
positive. Just be an ear for them.
All right, what's up, everybody? Hey, Josh here with the Bright Business Podcast. I'm excited to have my good friend JR DaRosa with History Barber Company. And why I'm excited, because him and I go way back. We were just talking before we hit the record button that, man, you and I go back almost 20 years, going back to
Yeah.
Bible college days, right?
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
20 years, man. It feels like the memories are still pretty new, like my gosh.
Yeah, yeah. And for those who are watching, your friends that you went to college with or friends you spent time with when you were in your 20s, those
Mhm.
memories are etched into your mind.
Yeah.
The things you did and just hanging out and the good
Traveling
time,
together, playing music. Oh my gosh.
playing music. Yeah, absolutely. So JR is that guy in my life. In fact, you were in my weddings, and we
Yeah.
we just have so many deep roots. I'm excited to have you here.
Thank
And the
you.
Bright
Thank
Business
you for the opportunity.
Podcast is about, we're all about bringing light into your business
Hmm.
and bringing the knowledge that you have gained just through launching your business. And we're people of faith, and how do we bring faith into our business? What does that look like? And how do we become a light into our communities as well? And I love your story. I've been following you since the day you opened the doors of your barbershop.
Thank
And
you.
I can only imagine uh, the stress and everything that went into launching your barbershop.
Yeah.
And man, I'm excited just to hear more about it. So, can you just give us an intro on who you are and
Yeah.
just a little bit about your journey? Don't give us too much right now, but let us know who you are.
Sure. JR DaRosa. Actually, JR is my suffix. My full name is Latimer DaRosa Jr. In college, I went by Junior, but the past like 10, 15
Mhm.
years, I kind of switched it to JR. I don't know why. It just sounded cooler. So I went with JR, and originally from Brazil, and moved to the US from Brazil when I was about 4 years old, lived in New Jersey most of my life. And then I went off to school and college. That's where I met Josh, and we were in worship teams together, and we served together, traveled together. I was his barber. I lined him up in his bathroom. We have so many stories to go, but just but always had this love and this hobby in barbering, and it was always a good feeling to be able to make somebody look clean and
Mm.
fresh. And I started when I was 16, and then took me to college, and I butchered people's heads in the rooms. I remember even getting called into a room by Manny, by a whole bunch of these guys, and they had like an intervention and said, "Jr. You suck. Stop. Don't cut anyone's heads anymore." But I don't
Oh,
know. I always loved it, and it kind of fueled me to want to learn more, and I did, and I always kept it as a hobby until about 10 years ago when I had the opportunity to finally take this on and started barbering, started gaining clientele, started building relationships. But instead of just like cutting hair, I knew the importance about building relationships with clients
yeah.
and having a relationship. That to me was the priority, and that's how I've been able to have a significant amount of clients in this business. And then around 2018, even since the beginning, since 2015, I knew one day I wanted to have my own shop, and just pray to God, say, God, let Your will be done. I'm just gonna keep going, keep gaining clientele, and I just kept on doing that. And then around 2018, I started putting a plan in place for me to be able to open a business up. And I started the business planning and started doing a whole bunch of stuff. And I thought 2020 was going to be that year. And I just saw, okay, 2020, right? Everybody talks about like 2020 vision.
Hmm.
It's a new beginning. It's a
Yeah.
clear vision. That was kind of like sketching my mind. I'm gonna make 2020 that year that I opened my shop. And about 2 months, about in January, I remember someone telling me, "Hey, hold off." It was one of my clients. He's
Mm.
very known within the city, the government. He's like, "Hey, I would say hold off on open up your business. Can't go into detail with you, but just I would say just hold off from opening up the shop right now." And
Okay.
soon enough, March came, the pandemic hit,
Yeah.
And I was just like, it's a good thing to have relationships with clients that care about your well-being, care about you. And
Yeah.
I held off, but I kept on building up my clients. And I realized that in just 2 years, I realized that mentally in 2020, I was excited about it,
Mm.
but I wasn't mentally prepared. And I
Mm.
realized that it was more into doing that. So I left the barbershop that I was at. I went to a studio, and in the studio I was on my own, and I had to do everything on my own, and prepare the business account, do accounting correctly, all these different things that I was like, wow, from a business owner perspective, is a lot of information to
Wow.
know. So I started building the right relationships with mentors in the barber industry that were able to just really feed me and really
Yeah.
and show me the right way to do it. And I just kept on. They tweaked my business plans and how to create structure, how to create the right culture. And but I knew that, like, there's so many barbershops around, but how is my barbershop going to stand out? And
Yeah.
kept on building a business plan. And then 2022 started. Like, I was like, I'm gonna do it now, and signed a lease, went into construction the beginning of
Mm.
2023, and opened for doors November
Wow.
2023. So we're about a little bit over 6 months in. It's been successful. We've been gaining clientele, but it's been a ride that is exciting to be able to
Yeah.
endure.
And
Yeah.
I want to get more into that.
Mhm.
You had mentioned that mentally you weren't ready.
Yeah.
First off, before I get to that, where's your barbershop located at?
It's located on the literally in the borderline of Margate and Coral Springs.
Okay.
It's basically right next to, like, Margate's a small city, but it's right next to Coconut Creek, Boca, Coral Springs,
Yeah.
Florida
Okay.
area.
Okay.
Yeah.
And why'd you pick that area just out of curiosity?
So I was looking in Coconut Creek. Coconut Creek is very up and coming,
Okay.
but they have but then just searching around, and I realized in Margate, the barber shop. This is the thing. Talking about being salt and light into the earth, right? Margate
Mm.
has many barbershops, but they have many barbershops that are hood and don't like cutting children.
Mm.
They don't like kids.
Okay.
They don't want to do the whole yelling, all the stuff. And I love kids. So I knew the mayor and some guys from the city, and I was like, hey, I'm planning to open a barbershop in Margate. And they were like, oh, okay. And I was just like, but let me tell you about my barbershop. And when I told them, they're like, we're 100% behind it. And that's why I was like, I opened it. They were here during the grand opening, and we are welcome all ages. And I also have some relationships with people in the autism community
Mm.
that I also set up private times, most likely in the evenings, where they're more, calm and nobody's in here. There's no noise, no music, no other clientele. And I take about one or two, probably like 2 or 3 times a week in the evening around 6:45. I cut about one or two autistic kids that they come in, some are nonverbal, some of them yell, they don't like the sound of the machine. So
Mm.
parents appreciate that privacy,
Yeah.
to be able to do that for them.
Yeah. And in the community that you're in too,
Yeah.
I'm sure that is very much appreciated.
Yes, yeah, that was one of my
Yeah.
focuses. I was inspired. I forgot the name of the gentleman, but he's a gentleman online that went viral, just helping out kids with autism, and I just felt
Mm.
inspired to do the same thing.
That's so good, man.
Yeah,
So good. Now, I know a lot of people have business ideas, and there are a lot of people out there that have these ideas that are floating in their mind or they're lingering around. And I know for you, you had your goal of 2020, but you had to put it on hold.
yeah,
And then you waited how many years before you actually opened your doors?
yeah. I mean,
Four
yeah,
years?
correct. Yeah, 3 years. Yeah,
What was that like mentally, and how did you mentally prepare to go into this season?
man. Well, to keep it plain and simple, like, as much as I wanted to do it, Um, I first put it into prayer. That was one
Yeah,
of the most important things for me. That I had a foundation of prayer in everything that I did, because
yeah.
there's excitement, right? There's an anxiousness that comes behind it, like, oh yeah, I
Mm.
want to do this, do that, do this, do that, and it's just like, let me just pause for a second. Let me think about this. Let me pray about it,
Yeah,
and actually set everything in order how it
yeah,
has to be. When opening a new business, you always set a budget, right? But what
Hmm.
happens? We always end up
Go
going over
over.
that budget. Every
Yeah.
project will set one budget, and I was like, okay, but and it
Mm.
happens, and it happened to me, and
Yeah.
I'm just like, okay, so I got to prepare for that now, and now I had to restructure my business plan to know, okay, I set for this goal in my budget, but it ended up being this, so I had to restructure, make sure that okay, these are the things I got to tweak and change, and then that happened through I realized throughout the whole process of preparing to open a barber shop, the budget just kept going up and up and up. And
Mm.
I was mentally like surprised, scared. Everything comes in scared,
Hmm.
fear, like worry, like, oh my gosh. But I knew there was a purpose behind this. Like it started a long, long time ago. And it started while I was in New Jersey when I went to college. And I just knew that I loved making people look good and feel good. It was
Mm.
something that I loved doing. And
Yeah.
at the same time, is that people appreciated it. It was a self-esteem booster. People want to go out to out for a nice dinner on the weekend. They want to get a haircut before they go out. If they're gonna
Yeah.
go to a wedding, they want to get a haircut. If they're gonna go to a funeral, they want to get a haircut. And people open up about their lives with you while
Mm.
getting their haircut. And
I
that's
love
one thing that I love about that just makes it easy to build relationships because people have their story and I share with them my story. You know?
Yeah. And that is a ministry of itself.
Yes.
And I love that you just instinctively are adding these components to your business that just add so much value to the community.
Hmm.
Working with the autistic kids, you're open to working with kids, you're developing a relationship with the mayor in your city, and
Yeah.
all these things. Was all this strategic or just you being you?
Man, I mean, I've always been just an extroverted, relational person.
Yeah.
I just don't like.
Mm.
I enjoy positivity. I enjoy networking. I enjoy connection, and something that I think I always had within me. And I knew that it was important, especially very important in business wise.
Yeah.
It's important to have connections. It's important to have good people on your side, people who support you. And I think that's something that I knew that I had to have in this business.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. Even with us, you had mentioned budgets
Mhm.
and renovations, and when you're starting a business, you got a mix of emotions:
Yeah,
excitement, you got fear, anxiety, the unknown,
yeah,
all this stuff. But your why, you'd mentioned your purpose.
yeah,
If your why is strong, that is what will keep
yeah,
you going.
yeah.
And it sounds
It,
like yours was people, relationships.
it was people, like we have children, right? We both have
Yeah,
children.
yeah.
And I think the most important thing for me is as we start instilling the word of God in our children's lives and getting to know who Jesus is from a young age. I also know that we have a life that we
Mhm.
have to live, that God has given us life for us to, and what we're going to do, what's our purpose. And I wanted to show my children and even besides with people as well, my why behind it was my children that I wanted them to see that if you have a dream and don't let nobody stand in your way, like just go after it. Is it
Mm,
going to be tough? Is that road, that journey going to be hard? Yeah,
yeah.
it's going to be hard. There are going to be people who are going to call you into a room and tell you you suck. And then people's gonna tell you, call you into a side and say, "Hey, you shouldn't do this. Oh, this is a big risk. Are you sure you want to do this?" And all those thoughts were in my mind.
Mm,
It had sleepless night, like you said, a mix of emotions.
yeah.
But I knew that like this was the purpose that God called me to do because, like barbering, it's so much more than just cutting hair, right? Like I said before, but like a long time ago, I wanted to be in full time ministry with music. I wanted to work in a church and lead worship and build relationships that way with people, and it wasn't happening. And I'm like, okay, so I do love barbering, and then one day somebody spoke into me and said, "Hey, you realize that you're already living your ministry that God called you to do?" I was like, "What are you talking about?" And I'm just like, "Let me explain to you. You see between 50 to 100 people a week. You're extremely booked out, and you're you're touching everyone's head. So people are sharing their life stories with you from A to Z, everything they're going through with you from good and bad, and you're able to touch their hair, style them up, but at the same time you're able to speak life into that person
Mm,
and to
mm,
actually minister to that person.
yeah.
And when that person told me that, it clicked. And I'm just like, I'm already living the ministry that God called me to do. And I didn't
Yeah.
realize that for a few years. And I just thought, I'm cutting hair, I'm making money, I'm I build relationships. But the whole thing behind it is that there are people who come through my doors that are depressed, that are
Mm,
going through suicidal thoughts, that are going through divorce, that are going through financial struggles, A to Z, like I said before. And the culture that I built here with the barbers is that, like, hey, you're basically, besides just cutting hair, speak life into the people, be
mm,
positive. I was like, listen to people. People want to come here
yeah.
and they open up. Just be an ear for them and just encourage them for them to be able to leave here impacted.
Mm. Bro, that's so cool.
Yeah.
That is so cool because you're taking business and a concept that we society, we take in, we want to make money, we want to make a living, but then you're going so many layers deeper, and you're
Yeah.
taking that opportunity with people that walk through your doors to impact them, and
Yeah.
then they'll go out. I mean, if they walk out feeling good, I would imagine they're going to make their family feel good, and it's going to reciprocate
Hmm.
to other people down the
Yeah.
road. And I just want to be clear about one thing: I don't think I was in that room telling you you sucked.
You
Cutting your-
weren't. You were not in
yeah,
that
I was
room.
not there.
You were not in that room. It was Manny and some other guys, but you
Hey,
were not in
hey,
that room.
no name
I,
name.
it was so funny. It was true. I
Yeah.
was I was I was trial and error method. I was butchering people, and I was saying, yeah, I got you. I can fade. I got you. Got you. And I started fading them up, and then I realized, no, I'm not doing it
Bro,
right.
you were cutting I was happy with my cuts you gave me, man.
But see,
Fact.
you were when I started cutting you. I was about like a few months. I was like more close to a year in, so I started
Oh,
watching more videos, started
yeah.
learning more how to do the right fade, because I just hadn't I hadn't put in the time to really know the levers and how to
Mm,
cut with the corners, all this stuff. So
mm.
once I started doing that, and then I realized it kind of just instilled in my brain, and I started, like, you guys were my guinea pigs, and thank God I did well with you.
Yeah. I think you even cut my hair before our wedding, before
I
Mandy
did.
got
I
married.
did. I brought my
Yeah.
stuff. I remember I brought my stuff, and I
Yes.
and I cut your hair for your wedding. Yeah.
I love it. So we have
Yeah.
documentation from 16 years ago of you
Yeah,
cutting
it's
my
true.
hair.
That is so
Yeah.
true.
That is funny, man. That is so
Wow.
funny.
Yeah.
But man, I mean, working on the craft is one thing, but
Hmm.
then working on the business side of it is a whole nother side of it.
Yeah.
So how did you manage getting into the building and finances? I mean, did you get a loan for everything? I mean,
Yeah.
how are you managing all that?
Okay. So many. So okay. Crazy enough, in 2020,
Yeah.
I had even 2018. I just started. I really started being strict with my savings. I told my wife, I was like, if we're gonna do this, we're gonna have to prepare ourselves. We started listening to Dave Ramsey and through his courses and all these things, and I'm just like, okay, so let's just do this right. And even when it came to the business, yeah, we had to get a small business loan for the business, but I had saved up a lot of capital. So thankfully, I'm not heavily indebted into a small business loan. But I had
Nice.
to get one to do extra things because I realized I was going to go above budget. But at first, it was going to be mainly capital that I used to open up the shop, but coming in and changing things, you know what, this doesn't look right, and then just started doing more things. um, I had to go into getting, the loan for the business, and at first I was a little bummed up about it, but then I was like, you know what, it's an investment, so let
Yeah.
me go ahead and just do it. You know what I mean? And I know
Yeah.
God will take care of the rest.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. I know that's a tough decision, and that's
yeah,
part of
it's,
being in
it's
business, making decisions.
no, yes, and man, there's from learning how to just bookkeep and learning how to you know take care of your barbers and make sure they're happy and paying them out in percentages and doing running numbers and saving receipts and doing everything. It's more than I thought it would be, and I'm just like, wow, okay.
Mm.
But now that I know I'm still learning more, but now that I've learned a lot, I'm grateful for. I'm like, wow, okay, I just definitely feel way more prepared than I was in 2020 for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. I know I'm hearing a theme of self-improvement. I mean, even from back in college when you were cutting my
Yeah,
hair and other people's heads. I mean, you're watching YouTube videos, and then you
yeah,
mentioned back in 2020 you realized you weren't mentally prepared.
yeah.
How did you realize that? And then what did you actively do to mentally and I'm sure emotionally and spiritually prepare yourself as well, but more mentally, what did you do to get yourself ready to be a business owner?
Knowledge, man, knowledge. I realized that
Mm,
I wasn't being serious. Like, I'm like, yeah, I got this. I know how to cut hair. I can open up a shop. No,
yeah.
like you have to be knowledgeable of what it is to running a shop or running a business. Like
Hmm.
it's the personalities behind your different barbers, clientele. Like before, I was in a studio, so I took care of only my clients. So if I
Hmm.
got referred, it was I got referred. Hey, I got referred by so and so. Oh, awesome! Man, come on in. Let me take care of you. What kind of haircut would you like? Do the consult. So it was an easier process. Now
Hmm.
people walking in, they're not walking in for you. They're walking into the shop. So there's a lot more in going into that, preparation wise. But I knew that I had to do something that I wasn't very strong at and started reading about books about business.
Okay.
Started going to connect groups at church that our pastor even leads a business like a
Mm.
basically entrepreneurship
Mm.
connect group, and it's a group of business got business owners. We got guys in there that are making 50, 60, 70,000 dollars a year in their business, and they're growing, and to guys that are that are multimillionaires, and they just spit knowledge, and they just talk about a
Hmm.
whole bunch of things, and you kind of hear, okay. And so I kept going to that, and I realized, okay, I have to become more knowledgeable of things about business. It's not about just cutting hair and just opening, turning on lights and opening up the shop and putting
Hmm.
a cape on somebody. It's much more in depth.
Right. So what I'm hearing you say is you got around the right people. And
Yes.
you equipped yourself in any
Yeah.
specific books that you read that you would recommend people to pick up?
Oh my gosh.
Mm.
Oh, now you call me. There's one by Andy Stanley. Is that his name? Andy Stanley? Better Decisions, Fewer Regrets. That's
Okay.
one.
Nice.
That one's really good. There's another one that my pastor gave to me that I haven't started reading yet,
Mm.
but it's also busy. Man. But Better Decisions, Fewer Regrets was one that was just really good because, like, there's a saying in Brazil in Portuguese that says that the cheaper you go, the more expensive it ends up later.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, so true.
if you buy cheap stuff now, eventually it's gonna break and you're gonna have to spend more money later, right? But there's also a saying that like why not invest into the good thing? Why not invest into the good things now
Hmm.
and invest into taking bookkeeping courses now, invest into taking things that will make you more knowledgeable in business.
Yeah.
Like now, find courses. There's apps. There's different things. Go on YouTube. Like YouTube University now is like you can search anything
Yeah.
on there, and there's always somebody giving some kind of knowledge about business.
Yeah.
And so I started just basically doing that and just really researching to be able to get that knowledge.
That's awesome. Yeah, I know YouTube for me is part of my life. Every morning I get in the
Yeah.
shower, I literally put on a audible book or
Hmm.
YouTube video on something I want to learn about,
Yeah.
leadership, and always listening to books while I'm in the car. I'm in the car, rolling university, university on wheels, just
Hmm.
getting knowledge in your head. So what are you doing now to grow? I mean, you're in your space, you got people working for you, you got clients coming in. What are
Yeah.
you, I mean, obviously you're on a new level now.
Yeah.
So what are you doing to self-improve currently?
Well, currently, I realize that I'm gonna have to, for myself as a business owner, like I'm gonna have to go to conferences. There's conferences that
Mhm.
are happening. There's workshops that are happening to get around people who've been in the business for a long time, and then they have successful multiple barbershops, franchise. Because the goal is eventually to have multiple locations, and um, God willing, within the next 5 years, we have two more locations.
Nice.
So I know that I had to get around the right people to be able to get more knowledge because it doesn't stop. Like just because you finish a book doesn't mean that
Mhm.
there isn't other things to learn. So
Yeah.
I realized that getting around more mentorship is, and I think it's very, very good to every business owner that has a dream to open a business. Make sure you have a mentor. That's the
Mm,
one thing that's very, very important
that's
to have a
good.
mentor. If you're the top head and you just feel like I'm the alpha and I don't need anybody else to show me anything anymore, I'm sorry, you're wrong. You
Hmm.
know, it's always good to have a mentor to be able to really sit down and say, okay, hey, this is what you're doing right, this is what you're doing wrong. I would say try this way, and then they're able to. If they don't have the answer, I'm sure they can find someone who has the answer for you. So
Mm,
that's very, very important. That I realized that in 2020, I knew that eventually I needed a
mm,
mentor, but I needed a mentor back then. You know what I mean? So then
mm.
I started basically getting into a mentorship in 2022 to be able to really just talk things over and learn from
Yeah,
them.
yeah, that's true. Because you can't go at this alone. Business
You
is
can't.
too
You can't.
complex, too stressful. I mean, you can't go at it and you be the top of the knowledge pool.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. And it's
How did you land on your mentor? Who is it? Who is that person in your life, and how did you find them?
okay. So one of the persons that I've been looking into is a guy named by David Danny Almaring.
Okay.
His Instagram is called Sex Addict. He's been talking to me and really spending time to just talk about how it is barbering. He has three successful barbershops in New Jersey, but he's also traveling the world and doing workshops and doing motivational speaking. He's has affiliations and partnerships with Great Clips, with Gibbs Beauty Supply, with Hair Cuttery, with all these different with Andis. He's huge with Andis as an ambassador for them, and he took the time to just really be able to mentor me in this business.
Mm. And then what did that do for you through the process? Did you go to that person when you were feeling discouraged or when you needed like simple business advice?
Man, okay.
Or
So when it came to my pastor, TJ McCormick, he is very, very business oriented. Before pastoring, he was in the business
Mhm.
of construction, and he was very knowledgeable. And he also has had a circle around him. So locally, he the person that I went to regarding just in general business things.
Right,
I have gone to him to be able to really just talk about business planning and make sure that lawyer read helps you read the documents
right.
because all this things it's just all this lingo is things that I didn't understand. So he put me in the right direction.
Mm, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good because if you don't have that person that's been down the road or
Oh
has
yeah.
the expertise in that area, you can really get in trouble.
Oh yeah. Oh no. Oh for sure. Like I was like, okay, gotta say everything right when it comes to even paying taxes. All this stuff is everything. It's a mixture of things that I was like, okay, just learning, continue learning always.
Mm, that's good.
Yeah.
Man, so how do you feel now that you're in your shop and
Mhm.
you've been you've been dreaming this up for years, man? Now you're
Yeah.
sitting in your own shop. How long has it
Yeah.
been? A couple months or is
No, we opened for doors the first week of November of 2023,
oh okay, cool.
and
Six
then
months.
we had a grand opening January 24th.
Nice.
Had a great turnout, and it's been great. Um, what's been extremely
Mm,
helpful as well in my business has been my wife. She has just been so knowledgeable with social media and advertising, and been able to just really just be a backbone on that side of things has helped a lot as well.
mm,
Um,
man.
she has also just been teaching me the importance of advertising, making sure that we're getting connected with other local businesses that are able to promote, getting connected with gyms, um, just really getting out there in the community to be able to like, hey, we're here. So that's just one thing that like we're in this new space has been great. The past, just in 2024 alone, we've gained our clientele. The barbers are happy. We're getting busier. Are we at the place that we want to be yet? No. I think that we definitely be. I want to be busy. I want the barbers to be cutting, 15 plus people per day. You know what I
Mm,
mean? But we're not there yet. But I know we will be. We open up the doors. We're doing the right steps. But like I said, it's a constant day of just each day just learning something new. Okay, this doesn't work, let me try it this way. Well, this
yeah.
is working really well, let's continue doing that.
Mhm.
So like I
Yeah.
said, it's a trial and error, just like method, and then just day by day just keep on continue learning.
Yeah. Are you having fun? That's a real question.
Yeah, yeah. Like,
Yes.
man, okay. Since 2015, this is why I knew I was doing what I was meant to do. Since 2015, from the first day I started cutting the barbershop. Let me just backtrack a little bit before. Okay.
Okay.
So this is what had happened to me. I was working in the banking industry. I left the banking industry in 2013 and went to go work for a restaurant owner. He's like, he loved me. He was one of my clients while I was in the bank, and he said, "I'd love for you to be my GM. I would love for you to come work in my restaurant and manage things for me, run payroll, do all that." I'm like, "Yeah, let's do it." And went into it, and I realized quickly that that is not what I wanted to do.
Hmm.
My wife was pregnant. Our baby's about to be born. And I knew that once this baby's born, it's going to be crazy. I won't be there to spend time with my kids,
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, okay. And then my child was born. And 4 months in, I realized it's not the place. And he let me go. He let me go on a Monday. On a Tuesday, I told my wife that I'm gonna do full time barbering, and she thought I was crazy. She's like, you have very little clientele. You cut friends. It's like a hobby. Are you sure you want to do this?" And I was like, "No, I'm gonna do this. I've always had a passion for this. It's my opportunity. I'm gonna do it." So that day, I started creating business cards, and then on Friday morning, I went to the beauty supply store to buy supplies, and I'm gonna become like a mobile barber, and I'm just gonna do
Mm-hmm.
what I gotta do, and I'm gonna start this, and then about four doors down from the beauty supply is a barbershop there, and that's where I used to cut my hair, and that's where I was cutting my hair, and the business owner saw me in the shop in the beauty supply buying supplies, and I told him that I'm no longer in a restaurant, and he says, "No, you're not going to be a mobile barber. You're going to come cut in my shop." And I was like, "Well, I don't have my license yet." He's like, "No, we'll be okay. You'll be my apprentice, which would be completely fine, and then you have 6 months to get your license." So
Hmm.
I was like, "Let's do it." I
Nice.
started. I started that Friday, and I never looked back. From that day forward, every morning, I never felt like I hate my job. Never once I said I hate my job.
Mm.
And every once I woke up and I'm just like, "Oh, I just can't stand this anymore. I'm not going to work anymore. I don't want
Yeah.
this anymore." No, that's what I knew I was doing what I was meant to be doing, because besides, like, the relationships that I've gotten throughout these years have been impactful in my life, but I know that God has used me to be an impact in their life.
That's all. That's so
Yeah.
awesome, man.
That's why it's so fun. People come in here, we just talk about sports, work, their girlfriend problems, their this, whatever it is, and just we just laugh and we tell jokes and we
Yeah.
get on each other, and at the end of the day they leave feeling good, and,
Yeah.
and it's fun. Yeah,
That's
it's
what it
fun.
should be. Should be
Yeah,
fun. Should be
yeah,
fun. And I'd imagine you walk into the doors after dreaming it up for so long, and you just have this feeling like, wow, I can't believe I'm here. Type
yeah,
of feeling.
yeah. No, no, for real. Like that's like I get here, like I'm so excited every day. I open these doors, and the first thing I do when I open here, I just pray. That's
Mm.
the first thing, that God lets it be a positive day, a great day. The people that come into this place, they leave transformed, they leave renewed, they leave refreshed. And
Yeah.
at the end of the day, I leave with a prayer as well, and just saying, "God, thank you for a great day. Thank you for the clients that
So
came
good.
in." It's, man, prayer being that first thing, and coming into business and being the last to do that before you leave the business, that has, I believe, been a foundation. And I tell the guys, and I pray with them, and it's something that we made a foundation in this business.
Man, for those kingdom entrepreneurs that are hearing this,
Hmm.
cover your business in prayer.
Yes.
First thing you walk in, you pray, and when you leave, you pray and give thanks.
Yeah.
Man, that is awesome.
Yeah.
And when you do that, from what I've seen, when you do that, God will bless you, and He's clearly blessing you. He's opening doors for you. He's
Mhm.
creating opportunities, and it sounds like things are going very well.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to see where God takes it, man.
Bro, I'm so grateful. This, before opening up the shop, and opening up the shop, going through the build out stages and the frustrations with the city and the GC and the work and everything, God in 2023 gave me a word of just gratitude. And I
Mm,
took that in, opened up the shop, and then came 2024. I think it's very important for every entrepreneur listening, is that, like, ask God to give you a word for the year.
yeah,
Like God gave me a word for the year of 2023 of being of gratitude. I would
Wow.
come into this place multiple times during the build out and just cry and just like, man, like, oh, look at all this debris in here. We just painted the ceilings. We just broke this up. And I would just be so happy that it's happening.
Mm-hmm.
Coming to 2024, I thought my word was going to be like, favor.
Mm.
I thought my word was going to be
Yeah.
like, something, whatever, something that just different. And
Yeah.
then reading the word of God. And then I'm just like, okay. And then he brought me to the word, where they were traveling around, two passages when they were traveling around the walls of Jericho, and God just told them just praise. For 7 days they praised,
Mm.
and the walls came tumbling down, and they went
Yeah.
in. And it's so funny, the walls came tumbling down, and then when the walls came down, they didn't become barriers that still prevented them to come in. They became bridges, and
Mm.
they just walked over that debris and went into
Right.
Jericho. and
Right.
then and then the word and the story of Moses, like going through the desert, and then to a certain point guided the people to the point where then God says, oh, Moses, you're no longer going with the people. Then he had to pass the baton down to Joshua to continue, and he never reached
The
the
promised land.
land of the people reached.
Yeah.
Then reading those passages, being in the desert for 40 days, going around walls of Jericho for 7 days, the word that God gave me for 2024 is patience.
Mm.
And I wasn't expecting patience. I'm
Yeah.
like, really, God? And God has a sense of humor, and that's been my word for 2024. And patience in
Wow.
everything I do.
That's so good,
Excuse
man.
me.
That's good. I mean, I'll receive that too, because as a business owner, you're nothing but impatient. You want to see things happen now.
Yeah,
You want to
yeah,
grow. You want to go to the next
yeah,
level. But sometimes God just wants you to hang back and listen and watch and see what He does.
yeah,
Because when you're patient, you're forced to almost do nothing and just be still.
yeah,
And that's tough for guys like us.
yes. We want to get things done. Let's do it now. Let's get it done. Yeah, correct.
Yeah. Yeah, that is a hard thing to do. I mean, we are the drivers of our business, but we're also the chaos creators of
Yeah,
our business because we're
yeah,
visionaries and we want to take action and we want to try new things that can create chaos sometimes or can
yeah,
create successes. But man, being patient in business, that's really
yeah,
good. That's really
yeah.
good. Man, I love your heart. I've always loved it. I think that's why we've been friends for so long.
Yes, sir.
Man, it feels like we've never, when we talk, I'm always like, yeah, I just feel like we just picked right up where we left off.
Bro, that's what's important about true friendship.
Yeah.
That we just pick up exactly where we left off,
Yeah.
man.
I love it, man.
I'm always so grateful for you. I know you have your testimony and things
Yeah.
you went through in your life, and it impacted me. It made me cry when I heard blessing the relationship between you and your sister, and I was so
Mm,
grateful that you received that blessing and you're here. You have a beautiful family. You know what I mean? I
thank you.
see your family has grown. You got like 20 kids.
22. No, we have baby number 6 on the way.
Oh my gosh,
We're
six.
due, yeah, we're due in a few weeks here. And so we're excited.
Oh my
But yeah,
gosh.
we're good. God is good. We're
Yes.
we're blessed. God has been just loving on us, and we're excited for what He's doing.
Yeah.
And what's cool about the similarities between us is that I'm a worship leader too. You're a worship leader. We
Hmm.
both thought at some point in our walks that we were going to be in full time music ministry, worship, pastoral
Yeah.
ministries, and whatnot. But God had a different path for us, and I feel like I'm even more in ministry now than ever, you
Hmm.
know, because of the people we're serving, the team members we're serving, the community. And I mean, the opportunity you have on a day to day basis
Yeah.
is pretty cool. And to be
Yeah.
able to just have that example to other Christian business owners that might not know exactly what it looks like to bring their faith into the business without
Yeah.
it being a Bible thumping, scripture everywhere on the walls type of thing. But you are getting involved in your community. You're
Mhm.
praying over your business when you walk in. I mean, you're having meaningful conversations with your clients.
Yeah.
And man, that's what it's about. It's about bringing, you said at the beginning, being the salt and the light of the earth. And you're literally doing that with your business. And I love it.
Yeah.
And I think it's
Yeah.
awesome, man. So, well, how can people connect with you on Instagram, social, website?
Yeah. On Instagram, History Barber and Co. History Barber and Co.
Okay.
And on our website, historybarber.com. And keep a lookout soon. We will be having basically our start of our own excuse me, our podcast as well.
Nice.
Let me show you a little bit before we end. It's like the word history, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Um, my wife woke me up one middle of the night one time. She's like, I know what the name of your barbershop's gonna be. And I was like, what is it? She's like, I was like, okay, what do you have with your clients? What are you building with your clients? I was like, relationships. We tell stories, all this stuff. And she's like, yes. So if you get the what relationships and the story aspect about it, what you have with your clients is you have history with your clients. I'm like, yeah, okay. She's like, but if you grab the word history and you separate it into two words, is his story.
Hmm.
So the
Yeah.
client is showing his story with you. You're showing his story with him. But at the same time, being this the ministry that God gave you, you can share his story, God's story
Wow.
with your clients. And so then I told her, I was just like, okay, that's amazing. We're going with that. And we stuck with it. And then so one of my goals as well within the barbershop is that I also I'm going to want to start a podcast as well.
Yeah.
And this podcast is literally just talking with people and just sharing their life stories,
Awesome.
and just basically just talking about what they've been through, their tests that turn into a testimony. You know
Mm.
what I mean? And I think it's very important for men, especially because a lot of men need to open up and share their stories, share what they've been through, and I think that will make an impact if they're men that are in their 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, and they share their story, and there's young kids and their teenagers in early 20s listening to these stories, but or any age. Um, I think believe that people sharing their stories, they can make an impact in people's lives. You know what I mean?
Bro,
So
I
that's
love
something
it.
that I'm gonna do. Hopefully you'll be on it. I'm sure you will. I'm gonna get you on there.
Yes, I love
But
to.
I'm excited. But yeah, historybarber.com, History Barber Co on Instagram, TikTok as well. And yeah, I mean, just really grateful, man.
It's so good, man. That's so good. I love the meaning behind the name, and it's got a personal touch to it, a spiritual touch to it, and
Yeah,
has so much depth. I
yeah.
love that. All right, so last question, man.
Mm,
So somebody who has a dream out there, you mentioned going after your dreams, and they're teeter tottering on whether to do it or not. What
mhm.
would you tell that person who has that idea but not sure whether to do it?
Okay, everything is great to have an idea. Like to all you dreamers, it's great to dream. It's great to have an idea. But an idea without goals and without preparation is just an idea. Um, you gotta write things down. If you're not a person that likes to write, type it down. You gotta set
Mhm.
goals in place and to prepare you for what is to come. It's
Mm,
not gonna happen overnight. Rome wasn't built in a day. And dream, you can have these dreams. It's amazing to have dreams and have these ideas, but you got to prepare yourself because the journey is not easy. The
mhm,
journey for any dreamer is not easy. But once you're able to achieve that dream, there's so much gratitude. There's so much. It's so gratifying. There's so much happiness that comes behind it. But then you have an idea, right? And you set the preparation and you set your goals. But what is the purpose behind your idea?
mhm. Yeah.
There's got to be a purpose for it. Like if your purpose is just to make money, hey, I don't see you lasting a long time.
Mm,
Like put a purpose behind it to leave a legacy behind. Because what if you're gone tomorrow? Are people going to remember you as just a barber? Are people just going to remember you as, you know, a person who is a good lawyer? Like,
mhm.
what's the impact you leave behind? So that's the one thing that I hold myself that if I know for sure that if I was gone tomorrow, people are not going to remember me just because I was a barber.
Yeah. Yeah. I
You
love
know,
that, man.
yeah,
Gotta have that why, gotta have the purpose
yeah.
behind. I mean, that's what's gonna sustain you, keep you
And know
going.
what? And there are going to be people who are going to try to. They're going to be people who are going to try to block you. That
Mm,
happens. You know what I mean? But it's very, very important is that when you have an idea as well, is the less people that you share with, the better.
mm,
Like there's only a few people that you should be sharing with.
mm.
Somebody that you know that's truthful, authentic, is not a hater, is not a person who can be jealous, a person that's going to encourage you, and a person that will support you. Um, Keep your circle tight. When you
Mm.
share with so many people, there are people who are going to be like, "Oh, that's awesome, JR, cool," but there's animosity, there's animosity behind it. There's jealousy behind it.
Yeah.
People that don't really want to see you succeed. So keep your circle tight.
Yeah. Yeah. I tell my sons that too, my older sons who are, 15 and 10, to let your successes speak for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Don't go out and tell people how awesome you are, how
Yep.
great you are, this or that. Just let your actions do the speaking for you. Let
Yep.
your business do the speaking for you, and it will bear its own fruit, good or
Yep.
bad.
It's
Yeah.
true,
Yeah. Bro, thank you so much for
bro.
sharing. I love watching your journey from afar. One day I'm gonna get down there. You're gonna cut my hair
Let's
again.
go.
And
Let's go.
man, I'll have to fly down maybe every other week and just get a haircut then.
Send the jet. Send the jet, and I'll come
Send
over
the
to
jet.
you,
There we go. Awesome. Hey brother, thank you so much. Hey, let me
brother.
just let me pray for you real quick. I just want
Yes.
to pray blessing over your business.
Yes.
And Father God, we just thank you for JR. Thank you for his heart with his business with History Barber Company. I just believe you're going to do a even greater work than you've already done. Thank you for the journey you've been able to take him on. And God, I just speak favor. I speak divine blessing over him, his company, his family, and his business. Everything you're doing through him, Lord, let your favor go with it, and may you multiply everything he does, that you may be glorified through all of it. In Jesus' mighty name, amen.
Awesome. Awesome. Josh, Refresh family, guys, thank you guys so much.
Absolutely, man. Oh,
Just so grateful. Thank you for this opportunity, this time, and just honored to come on here, bro, and just pick up where we left off and just be able to just share and just talk with you, man.
100%, man. We'll get together soon, and I'll,
Yes.
I'll schedule an appointment.
Let's go.
All right,
I'll
man.
be here,
Thank
brother.
you. All right.
Yes, sir. Take care, brother.
You
Bye-bye.
too. You too.
Bye-bye.